There, and it's recording. All right, everybody, welcome back again to Stone Student Support Podcast. Tonight we are going over, as I have posted earlier on Facebook, Jennifer's body. And like I was just telling Zach, I didn't exactly write out my own play-by-play as much as like just taking chronological notes as I watched the movie. So I'm just going to kind of skim through the wiki plot and hit up the notes that I wrote. And yeah, we'll do it like that as far as when we get into the actual review. But for right now, Zach, I don't want to say spoiler free. No, fuck it. How do you feel about the movie just in general?
Honestly, I feel like not in terms of like movie quality, like it's not like the Shining type of horror movie, but like in terms
Hmm.
of uniqueness and like kind of cultural um what's it called? Uh what's the word when you have like a time capsule? Yeah. Like a cultural
Hmm.
time capsule. Like the
Hmm.
way that things were like 2008, 2009. Um It's like one of those last movies before iPhones were movies instead of like flip phones. And there's like
Hmm.
MySpace
Okay.
references, and it's like
Yeah.
peak
Yeah,
post
it's very
Transformers Megan
dated.
Fox stardom. Um, but at the same time, it's also kind of like a timeless movie where like it feels like it could have been made in the 80s in a way, and it also kind of feels like it could have been made like nowadays.
I could see both definitely. Because I could see it being an '80s thing too.
Yeah,
I could definitely
super
see
campy.
it being made now though, and just being where I could see it being made now because I feel like it was definitely just ahead of its time as far as marketed wrong as fuck.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
they really missed the mark with like the audiences they were trying to appease to. I watched this late. I watched this for the first time like 3, 4 years ago, some shit like that. And
Mhm. Were you surprised first time you watched it?
yeah, I was shocked at the gore levels that they took it to. I was shocked at the storyline of this being told through or the aspect of this story being told through Needy in the movie
Mhm.
not being centered on Jennifer Fox just because of the way that it was marketed. I really didn't know how it was going to play out. But then the movie kind of starts with this other girl narrating, and I'm just like, who the fuck is
Yeah,
she? Like, what is happening right now? Um,
I
yeah,
forget that
it
it
kind of
starts
had
off
me from the jump. It
with her.
was it was good. What was
Yeah.
that?
I was gonna say I forget that it starts off with her like being like the narrator and like in a insane asylum or mental hospital.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Kind of one of those movies where it kind of starts at the end, and it's like they have to tell you how they got there, and then it picks back up, sort of ordeal going on with the whole thing. But what was I gonna say? I mean, like I've pretty much given my general idea of it was that I liked it. I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought. The dialogue, it gets to be like, obviously if you're not a girl, like this movie was made for the girls. So
Yeah.
like the dialogue can get a little, it can get to be a bit much.
Sure.
But that's like nitpicky, and obviously it wasn't made fucking for me, you know what I mean? But um something about like high school to like young adult college like horror um is at least going to be entertaining like every time for the most part. But speaking of the opening, let's just go ahead and get into it. So we do kind of open, well, we don't open there exactly. We open with Megan Fox in bed like picking at these like we get some body horror like 5 seconds into the fucking movie with her picking at like these sores on her arm from like decaying because she hasn't been eating any boys and like staying healthy, for the succubus that she has become. And she's watching like aerobics videos late night, which I was thinking about that time frame. Like I had cable at times, but like for the most part I didn't. But when I was at families' houses and shit like that, or staying the night somewhere where someone did have cable, we were up late at night. Like that's the kind of shit that was. It wasn't shit on late at night except infomercials for like 30 minutes. It seemed like in between episodes of George Lopez and shit like that. So like that was very fitting for the time. Just even that she would be laying there watching those stupid infomercials. But we have Needy um outside of her window, kind of looking in on her like some kind of rogue operative spy or some shit like that. And we that's when we get to the mental hospital. She just starts kind of narrating that, uh what did she say? Hell is a teenage girl or some shit like that. Which just makes me think about Hell Hath No Fury, like the woman scorned. It's just kind of funny,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, so we open with that and we see her like extremely animalistic, like right out the gate, which I didn't see coming when she just kind of hit the caretaker with the this is Sparta kick right to the chest and gets put into like their form of solitary confinement. And she starts talking about like the fuck are they doing? Sorry, my kids. Um let's see. Actually, give me like 1 second.
No worries.
Hey, so this is late. Oh, okay, I'm back. Excuse me. So where we off with her being in solitary confinement. And then this pretty much just goes on to say that oh shit, did he leave? He left. Sorry guys. See if he comes back here in a second. Okay. I bet you his phone died. Give it a few more seconds and see what happens. More than likely his phone died though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to read through this wiki plot, and whenever Zach comes back, we'll just kind of pick up with the general
Yeah.
review. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
I was just texting you to call me. My phone had died. Plugged in now.
And I knew it. I was just saying to everybody, like, I'm pretty sure his phone just died.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna do, let me just go ahead and start reading through this wiki plot, and I'll stop like at points because I'm sure they're not going to hit on every single thing. But we already talked about solitary confinement. She begins to narrate a little bit, just giving some background on the history of her and her friend Jennifer, who is a color guard flag spinner. Jennifer often mistreats and dominates Needy, who is too in awe of her to stand up for herself. One night, Jennifer takes Needy to a local dive bar, and we're gonna start right there because we skipped over a bunch of shit. Just kind of jumped right into them going to the bar, and I have notes on the bar. So let's back up a little bit to the invite to the bar. I just made a funny note here about the way that Jennifer invites her to go see the concert. The way that she describes the men is she describes them as salty morsels. So like it's just almost like super fitting when she becomes like possessed by the succubus or whatever. Just her dialogue and attitude and everything already are kind of fitting of that. See if I can read my old handwriting right here. Yep. So just like in the wiki plot, they were saying how Needy is kind of too like afraid or like too obsessed with Jennifer to stand up for herself and say no at times. She made plans with her boyfriend Chip at the time for that night actually, and Jennifer ends up talking her into canceling plans with her and going to a concert to go check out these guys that she saw. And as you mentioned like earlier, I think before we hit record the the nod to MySpace at the time is where she said she checked out
Yeah.
their MySpace page and found out about the concert or whatever. So like there's a bit of funny dialogue that I don't want to jump over because it was just fucking wild. Um Chip is over at Needy's house, or was that vice versa? No, Chip
Yeah.
is yeah,
Chip's at
yeah.
Needy's house,
Yeah,
I thought.
Chip is at Needy's house.
Hmm.
And like he's kind of putting moves on her, but then she stops him because she feels that Jennifer is there, which kind of creeps him out a bit. And she leaves him, or no, she goes downstairs to start heading out to the bar. And they get to the bottom of the stairs, and Jennifer just goes, "It smells like Thai food in here. Have you guys been fucking?" I was
What a
just like,
line.
what the fuck? I was like, what
What
the
a
fuck
fucking
even
line.
is this movie?
Like,
Oh
yeah,
man, that's
yeah.
great.
I don't even know what to say about that.
And I was
That's a
like,
line that could only exist in this movie, is what
it's
I'll say
so
about that.
specific too. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? It smells like type. So like we skip forward a little bit, they get to the bar. This guy like says hey to Jennifer, and uh this was another great line of hers where she says, "Hey Craig," and her and Needy keep walking, and she's like, "Craig thinks um that he's hot enough for me," some shit like that. Craig thinks he's hot enough for me, or he's good enough for me, or whatever. And she goes, "That's why he's in retard math."
Oh my God, dude. Again, yeah, another line that would only have been said in this movie in 2009.
Yeah, it was just beat for beat. And so like right after they run into Craig, they run into Roman, who
Chris
appears to
Pratt.
be Chris Pratt, who appears to be much older than them. I couldn't really tell. They don't say. I mean, he was
I
obviously
watched
weird about him hitting on about her like grabbing on him and shit, but I was like, if he's not even in the academy yet, he could be 19 or 20, but I don't know. Like it seemed like he was
I
supposed to be
saw I
much
watched the Dead
older.
Meat video on it recently. He was 28 at the time of filming, so I imagine they probably, mid 20s, late 20s for this
Yeah, that he
character.
probably was meant to be um significantly older.
Hmm.
So I was just like, oh, that's weird and bold in a small town also.
So like,
Um,
if anything, that's almost getting at what probably is like a common dynamic in small towns.
yeah, yeah. No, because as much as we all know, and it's easy to say that, how do I word this? so I don't want to sound a certain way. It's going to say we all know girls that have been Jennifer and like messed around with older guys and things like that. But on the
Hmm.
other hand, that just means that a lot of people know guys that are with younger women. Like, you know what I mean? Like it can be super
Yeah.
secretive. So it is easy to put the blame, well, society really, especially like people down here. It's easy to put the blame on women for being a certain way, but like the end of the day, a grown ass man, like you know better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure that was in the movie on purpose. Like just like the normalcy of
Oh,
it
for
and how
sure.
no one ever said anything about it. Like I'm sure it
Probably,
was
probably even more
definitely
common 10,
intentional.
20, 30, 40 years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely before like
Post Me Too. Last
yeah.
9, 10 years.
Yep. Exactly.
People are now getting all their dirty laundry aired out in a way that people back then wouldn't have been possible. So
Right. So after they meet Roman, they uh decide to go introduce themselves to the the band that they're there to see, and Jennifer offers to go get them drinks and all this shit, and the band starts playing, and I wasn't sure if maybe I was reading too much into it or if they just filmed it kind of weird, but I couldn't tell what was going on with Jennifer's character being in this like trance while they were playing, and then it led to like the way the fire started, which I was like, okay, so there's wires by the curtain, like that makes sense, but like the way everything was shot, it was almost like some sort of Final Destination premonition moment. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
yeah,
Like I couldn't
yeah.
tell
There's
if it
some
was
sort of
supposed to just,
occult situation going on.
yeah, like I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be just a freak accident that happened or if something was causing that, because like even after they get out of the fire, which they escape this fire by just being happening to be skinny enough to fit through this bathroom window like nothing. Like they just jumped through that motherfucking. I was like, man, about
Mhm.
6 months ago. Well, I could probably do it now, but about 6 months ago, I don't know. I might have had to figure some shit
Yeah, I
out.
get you.
That'd
Yeah.
have been terrible. But yeah, that just was just super um easy for them to get out of. But
Hmm.
anyway, what I was getting to was after the fire happens and like everybody's dying and everything and they get out there, like I get that again, like Jennifer is in shock, right? Like the guy even speaks on it. But like the overwillingness to go, I was like, because there's supposed to be some sort of supernatural influence, or is this just filmed like kind of weird and that was like
No,
an
I'd lean
accident,
towards the supernatural, honestly. Like, I
right?
think that's definitely intentional, without a doubt.
Because it was just, I was just like, what the like? It was funny. Don't get me wrong. So like, I'm skipping over a little bit of things, right? So after everybody's dying and Jennifer and Needy escape, like Jennifer has to like kind of drop to her knees a bit. She's out of breath and like not doing that great. And the lead singer of the band walks up and
Yeah, he's all flipping.
he's like, I've been looking everywhere for you two. Are you guys okay? Just like as if they've been best friends for like since they were kids or some shit like that. And and he's like, we should get somewhere safe, like my van.
Yeah, yeah.
So then at that point too, I was like, okay, maybe it is supernatural because like this dude is not even trying right now. Like he's basically asking her to let him kidnap her. Like I was just like, it's got to be that there's supposed to be some sort of supernatural influence or pool, like maybe because of them being at the location of Devil's Kettle, or I don't know, but it just seemed odd. And like even the way she got up and was just like, yeah, like, hey, I really want to go check out his van. And I was like, but then as they get closer to the site where they're supposed to kill her, like later on in the movie, she kind of like isn't okay and is like aware of what's happening, even though she thinks it's like something else. But yeah, the way that she was like aware at some point, I was like, so was she in shock or was it not supernatural? Like, so that's part again made me question one more time. But I do think you're right, and I do think it was supposed to lead to something not lead to. I think it was supposed to be that there was some sort of supernatural influence going on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like between the song uh being like enchanting for her and then the way that like it blows
Yeah,
up after that, they might have already like tried a sacrifice. Like or they might have been like doing this to try and break out for a while and it was
yeah,
like incrementally getting more effective, but they needed the ultimate type of like sacrifice to try and push it over or something, you know. I don't know.
yeah. I think unofficially it's supposed to be something like that. I really think we're not supposed to read too much into it anyway, just because of the type of campy movie that it is. But I do think that you're on to something with that. Um, so I got ahead of myself again talking about the sacrifice and stuff, which is revealed way later in the movie. For right now, all we know is that she got in the van with them. Jennifer got in the van with the band and like took off. And Edie was kind of worried and scared. She goes home and she calls Chip and is explaining to him everything that happened. And this was another one of those lines where I'm like, it's funny, but like even in this stage, it's funny, but later on, like it does kind of get to be like a little bit. All right, this was made for the girls. Like you do feel it at
Yeah.
times. Like, but I
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
watched it like three or
No,
four times
I
to
get
kind of
you.
get ready. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like
I
nobody.
mean, it's still a fun movie, like as an outsider looking in, almost.
Yeah,
Like,
it definitely is.
yeah. But no, yeah, you're definitely right. It is for the girls through and through.
Right. And damn, and I forgot the damn line. Did I even write it?
Say it again. You kind of cut out.
Said I forgot the damn line I was getting ready to go. Oh, and so Needy's on the phone with Chip and she is telling him everything that happened and he's just like, can you describe the van? Did you get the license plate? And she's like, yeah, I don't know, like a 97 rapist. As like the make and model of the van or whatever. And then like after like she hangs up with Chip and goes downstairs and Jennifer is downstairs like just completely covered in blood. Um and this
Yeah.
scene will bring me to that hot take I texted you about that I had that I don't know if I'm equipped to be saying shit like this, but we'll get there. But this scene, she goes downstairs and Jennifer's there. She's like covered in blood and shit. And like there's a really graphic scene like where she smiles with her teeth like grated to
Hmm.
like grit together and closed and just like blood just like pours out and it's nasty looking. It's weird. And then everything about the scene also was just very like um in a deadite way like sexualized, even though
Hmm.
what was really going on was the succubus wanting uh to be able to bite and or eat Needy, but Jennifer like fighting it essentially and just kind of like slamming her against the wall and walking away. But before that happens, completely unrealistic. I see something like that and you're not talking to me, and then like I don't know. I'm calling the police or something. Like
Yeah.
I'm just I would probably just leave my house and lock you in and just fucking I would just figure that
Yeah.
shit out like later, honestly. So it's very unrealistic that she would continue to stay, but also like it's when you watch horror movies, like there's certain levels of plot armor that are necessary for the movie to even continue. Like, or it's
Yeah.
like
Oh
realistically,
yeah, for
Jennifer would have
sure.
just fucking killed her, and like the movie would be over. Like it's there would be nothing else to talk about. But and then
Right.
there's also something to be said about this like unbreakable bond, and those air quotes weren't like sarcastic, but it's like I don't know how else to like really describe it, so I just kind of did that. But like this unbreakable like bond that like girls have or whatever, like I think that's probably intentional
Mhm.
because there's something to be said about that as well, and like um still being like best friends with this cannibalistic looking person that just kind of popped up in my living room.
Yeah, literal
Like,
demon.
and then she walks over and raids the fridge and like goes to town on this rotisserie chicken. And he cracked me up. She's like, "Hey, my mom got that from Boston Market, and we're actually not supposed to."
Yeah. I feel like that was
Oh
probably one
man.
of the scenes. That's probably one
Oh
of Megan Fox's
shit.
favorite scenes to ever shoot. Just like
Oh my
housing
God.
that chicken, just like a fucking animal.
It's like, hey, so like even like with the demon in her living room, like the fear of her mom because her friend
Yeah.
touched that chicken was still so
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
real. She was like, God damn.
Yeah.
But Jennifer is like a demon and doesn't eat actual cooked food anymore, and she sort of projectile vomits, very
Mhm.
reminiscent of like the Evil Dead when people throw up. Which I'm just going to go ahead and say that my hot take was that I really feel like Jennifer's body um tricked and prepared a whole new fan base for Evil Dead 2013. I just when I was watching it the second time, there was just so many moments where I was just like, a lot of this feels like Mia in Evil Dead 2013, which obviously was much more like that movie wasn't a comedy at all, even though there are parts of it that I do find funny just like situationally
Mhm.
um and like conversationally, but it's like a very dark and fucked up movie, but just the projectile vomiting, just the 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 girly puns at the end, just like them going back and forth and just like Jennifer like being possessed, but just saying like funny shit. Almost like with
Yeah.
like it almost made me think about Chucky too. Just like that funny shit talking likable character, but like a girl.
Mhm.
Um but like Mia in 2013, the iconic like come down here so I can suck your cock, pretty boy. Like that whole scene, like the line from that movie. Like I don't know, it just it felt similar. So like I was looking I looked some things up and I did come to find out that the writer for Jennifer's Body was called in by Fede Alvarez to do some screenwriting for Evil Dead 2013. So I was just like,
Yeah,
oh,
Diablo
okay, so
Cody.
like I'm not crazy. But
Mhm.
like I said, it's kind of a it may be a hot take only because I have not seen everything great from like the 2000s yet. A lot of it I've been
Yeah.
holding out for the channel, which like I texted you about that plan earlier, so we can start knocking out like two movies at a time or whatever.
Right.
But um, I'm not well equipped enough in 2000s horror knowledge to really say that. But I do feel like, so like in the same way that when Sinners came out, right? Like if you like fans of horror and like people that didn't like horror but they're just like good movies, like it was like you went and saw it with people because you just heard it was a good movie.
Hmm.
But then you were kind of tricked because it's such a great movie for that first half, and then shit just gets real out of nowhere. But you've already been having a good time and cracking up and shit. But like it's just like a little blood now, you know what I mean? So like I feel like this movie
It's
was
like a
one
little
of
blood now.
the I feel like I feel like Jennifer's Body was probably one of those like sleepover movies that spawned lots of new fans of horror accidentally by
Yeah.
watching this like fucked up movie or like this like funny girly movie that
Mm.
just gets wild out of nowhere, but still keeps that funny beat and that girly dialogue. So you know what I mean? So like I feel
Yeah.
like by the time we got around to Evil Dead 2013, after the I mean, I feel like we really owe it to the success of Saw, like in 2004. I feel like the success of Saw made a statement that like fucked up horror could like do well. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I just feel like somewhere between that and Jennifer's Body, I feel like by the time Evil Dead 2013 came out, I feel like people were ready for it. Even though I guess that movie didn't do well, I think it's a great fucking movie though. It's like perfect camp level. But I got off on that because we were talking about what was it? Oh, the projectile vomiting and all that, and the way that she's just kind of like seductively, like almost like it looks like she wants to kiss Nene's neck, but like she wants to like kill it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of that whole thing was going on. So the next morning they just go to school, right? Just like Nightmare on Elm Street, my friend gets killed last night. I just go to school the next morning like nothing
Yeah.
happened. But she sees Jennifer and Jennifer just gaslights the fuck out of her. As if the whole thing did not happen at all. And she just like starts going off on her about how like she looks like shit. At some point, she tells her she needs a mani pedi and that she should hire an Asian to buff her situation. uh, what else do I have written down here? I mean, this movie is pretty tightly wrapped, man. Like it's a good little, what was it, 90 minutes maybe?
Yeah. It's not very long at all. It's
No, it's a good watch.
like an hour 40, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty tightly wrapped. Let me just go ahead and finish reading this whole fucking thing, and then I'll jump over to my notes or whatever. Um, Maybe I'll just keep going back and forth. But anyway, she gets to school. She like gaslights Needy about the whole thing happening. Like the teacher's talking about the tragedy and how they lost all their students. And I didn't catch this on the first watch, but on the second watch,
Mm.
when the student
J. Jonah
says,
Jameson,
"Huh?
the actor J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah."
Mhm.
Which I loved seeing. He was in it the first time I watched it. I remember being like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
But yeah, when I didn't notice, I noticed on the second watch when he says the foreign exchange student's name, that
Hmm.
Jennifer just like smiles like real like big, like she almost
Hmm.
like licks her lips,
Right.
which was super fucked up because we find out that she eats him or later
Hmm.
on, well that she ate him. We find that out
Hmm.
later on. Um, and like as a teacher is going over like who got killed and stuff, like there's a moment where she's like, "Oh my God, Erickson ate shit," just loud as all fuck. Like she just had no sense of feeling for anybody. And then like it's funny too. She sits down and Anita's just like, "Dude, a lot of people died last night." And she's like, "Anybody we know?" And Needy's like, "We know everybody."
Yeah.
Which was just
Yeah.
like super fitting for them being from a small town. This next scene is super. This shit was stupid, but it was funny. It was like some faculty level of camp. where Jennifer, because we know she can't run low on human flesh now to sustain her beauty and shit. So she go the football captain, I believe, died in the fire. So like one of the other football players is outside. I think his name was Colin. He's outside, just kind of crying, and Jennifer is walking towards him from his left, and he looks, sees her, and he looks away, continues crying, and she just pops up like on his right side, and he doesn't even question it. She does that to a few people, and nobody said shit about it, and I was just like, oh, whatever, okay. But she makes up this whole thing about how I can't think of the football captain's name right now, but she makes up this whole thing about how she was the
Very good,
last
thank.
person that he saw,
Hmm.
and that like he said that they would make a good couple, basically. And he
Hmm.
like kind of stops crying and like is like, oh yeah, like he said that. And yeah, she lures him out into the woods. Um, and this guy is just dumb and just like not reading any type of body language. He's just like saying crazy shit like, do you miss your friend? Like you're gonna see him soon? And he's like, you mean like one day in heaven? And I'm just like, brother, like run. Like what the fuck is going on? But like before he can get too nervous, she just unzips her jacket and he kind of gets back into it a little bit and like calms down a bit, and then like her the sides of her mouth's kind of split open and she has like vampiric teeth like everywhere. She looks like Melina from Mortal Kombat. And yeah, she just kind of like devours him. Um I really liked this scene, as campy as it was. I liked it because it was like a very strange, like perversion of nature scene. Like she kind of appears with her hood up, and it kind of feels like um uh Snow White, because like all the forest animals start showing up around her,
Yeah.
and like it kind of freaks out Colin, and she just says like, "Oh, like they're waiting." And again, I'm just like, "Dude, run!" Like that's just like, what does that even mean? And like, yeah, like after she like eats him or whatever, there's a shot of a deer like licking out of the carcass. And
Yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like,
deer are not carnivores. It was
right.
just like a great
Right.
little just to show that clearly
Yeah.
that area has been like tainted by her
Yeah,
presence.
exactly. Right,
That
right.
was a great scene. That scene really stood out to me. And then let me get back into my notes over here, see what happens after that. Yeah, they skipped over. I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of not together right now. So after she ends up killing that guy, um some time passes by. They don't really say how much, I don't think they show, but it's just showing that clearly some time's gone by and that like that's just kind of what she's been doing to sustain herself. There's a shot in there that kind of reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street where Needy is looking at Jennifer from across the way, and Jennifer's just like engaged in conversation with some other students, and she's laughing and smiling, and then she looks over at Needy, and her mouth is just like covered in blood and with like this kind of like cock eye, like fucked up smile, and then it just like kind of flashes back. It was like a dream sequence, but without completely being like a dream sequence. Um, she still hasn't completely cut Jennifer off though, which is crazy and kind of speaks back to that bond we were talking about earlier. But um, some time goes by and we see that Jennifer is starting to show up to school looking kind of like fucked up. Like she hasn't eaten anybody in a while. Like her skin's all flaky and shit. And she talks about how she feels like one of the regular girls and like she doesn't feel like pretty and things like that. And Jennifer is just kind of like not really understanding what that entails. She's just kind of still unable to completely separate herself from Jennifer. They leave class one day and they run into. I've been calling that football player Colin. I'm stupid. I'm sorry for the people that have seen this and this is your movie. I fucked that up. I know. Um, but now I'm going to be saying Colin because I mean to everybody. Um, so Jennifer and Needy run into Colin in the hallway, who is this sort of like he seems like he's kind of faking the goth act. And then Zach's phone just died again. So let me just go ahead and speed read through this thing. Um, Jennifer accepts a date with him. This leads up to the next scene. Pretty much what happens is that just texted me to call him again. Go here. Let me go ahead and invite.
Sorry,
So
sorry about that.
Colin, no,
Call
you're good.
interrupts.
You're all right. So Colin doesn't last long because he gets to one of the most like savage and stomach turning kills in the whole movie. He gets lured into this weird ass like abandoned warehouse area
Yeah,
with Jennifer to hook up. And like the further he goes into the house, the more fucked up and like just weird it's looking, which kind of is a testament to like what a teenage boy will go through to get laid, like during like during that
yeah,
age.
yeah,
Cause like I had to think
yeah,
back to myself. I was like, no, he's stupid, but I was just like, dude, he's also like 16. That's like the most popular girl in school. That kind of just worked out. I don't know. I might have
yeah.
had to see it through myself. I don't I don't really know.
Oh man.
But needless to say, he dies. It
Yep.
is it's coupled with a scene of Needy and Chip having sex while Jennifer just tears into Colin and destroys him. While that's going
Honestly, that
on,
that silhouette shot is pretty cool. Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't see it actually happen, but just all the shadow against the wall. And then also random
yep,
thought, but I feel like the setting actually kind of ties back to like 2008, 2009 because this came out
mm,
in '09 and the year before that was the big old housing crash. So like I remember there were like a
mm,
lot of houses where they'd started to build them and then like the prices had crashed so much that they like couldn't sell them for a profit, so they just like kind of stopped. Like they were like halfway through like a housing development neighborhood, at least in Arizona. So
huh.
like that's what that made me think of, like seeing those houses, empty street.
Yeah, because that spot was dark. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
You should not even
yeah.
go
No
in
one lived
there.
there.
But yeah, we get this other like one of the cooler shots in the movie too. And this is another one of those shots where I could see this being like super like 80s, like you said. I was like, I could see
Hmm.
it. Um, when Chip thinks he is just doing crazy work, like while
Yeah.
he's having sex with her, but she's really just having this
Yeah.
nightmare and seeing she looks in the corner of their room and she sees the football player that was killed, his dead body sitting up
Yeah.
in a chair in her room, and Jennifer like perched up behind her like the grudge or some shit,
That body
just like
language, her
smiling
pose.
at her while
Yeah.
she's
I feel like
getting
that's
railed
one of the
by
best
Chip.
demon moments. Yeah. Her
No, yeah, it
perch is one
definitely
of the best
was.
demon moments for sure. It's the
And
sort of thing where it's like, oh, that thing is evil.
right. So like this freaks her out and she leaves. Excuse me. She leaves Chip's house and I don't remember if she hit Jennifer or if she just saw her. I feel like she hit her maybe with the car. Let me see. No, 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 no. She doesn't hit her with the car. She just sees Jennifer in the street, like just covered in blood and looking all fucking weird and shit. And she ran off. Needy gets home to find Jennifer in her room. Jennifer um seduces her. Needy gives in for a bit. Oh, excuse me. God damn. Needy gives in for a bit. Um, and then I think Jennifer goes to like take off her shirt or something like that, and that's when Needy like pulls away and is like, "What the fuck is happening?" And Jennifer basically um tells her
Reveals.
that she was sacrificed by the band. They were supposed to be sacrificing a virgin for like power and fame and shit, but Jennifer is not a virgin, and they fucked up the ritual, and so they actually summon like this succubus demon type thing, which inhabited Jennifer, and it's kind of stuck in there forever now. Again, um,
Random side
like
note,
yeah,
I love the never ending whirlpool, like bottomless pit thing. Yeah, that's such a good
yeah, I
small
didn't even
town, like
speak on
50 feet
that
deeper.
on the old Devil's Kettle. Yeah, I didn't even speak on
Yeah.
that, but yeah, that was interesting as well. Some nice little small town like folklore too, like urban legendy. It
Yep.
just it really just
Yep.
fit. It just worked with the movie.
You know what's crazy is that there's actually a stream somewhere in the UK. I don't remember where, but there's a stream where it just looks like this tiny little peaceful stream, but it turns out it's actually like a crevice essentially
Hmm.
that the water is like you go into it and it's essentially like a cavern um that no one like if you get swept into it you do not come out of.
Oh,
Um
what the fuck?
so like,
Where do you think
yeah,
it
like
takes you?
I'll try and look that up right now. Because like that, I wonder if like when they were writing this, if they had heard of that and were like we're gonna borrow that for a story beat.
Yeah, it sounds kind of
Um,
similar. So like after Jennifer tells her everything, she's like fairly chill about shit still.
yeah.
Until Jennifer brings up Chip and how like good he's been looking lately and shit like that. Um, which Needy kicks her out. Uh, the rest of this movie, oh, excuse me, guys, work has been ass, but the rest of the movie is like pretty cut and dry from here, right? It's pretty easy to run through. So after she leaves, Needy goes to the school library and looks up their demonology or their occult section. I forget which one it was, but she basically just finds out the way to kill a demon is by stabbing it in the with a blade in the heart. She also tells her boyfriend Chip all this, who does not believe her, is like kind of a dick about it, and he's like because she says that they need to not or he needs to not go to the dance because if she's eating boys like to stay alive and stay strong, then like the school dance is going to be a buffet essentially is what she says, and that they
Mhm.
need to like stay away from each other as well because of Jennifer. And Chip is just kind of a dick about it and just like bitching about how he spent $12 on her corsage. Which also in 2008, I don't know if I had $12 on a regular basis. That might have been a big deal for me too. But um Chip goes to the dance anyway. While he's getting ready, I made note of this. His mom comes into the room, and he's like, I'm in my underwear, and she still just kind of barges in. I'm just like, yeah, that's a fucking mom thing for sure. They don't really give a fuck. but or it was more like a single mom thing too, because I don't think Chip had a dad. They didn't really show. I don't think Chip had a dad in his life, but she barges in his room and gives him some ladies pepper spray because there's a sicko out there who likes boys. He says like, no, I'm all right. Like I've been using the Bowflex, like I'm good. And his mom was just like, this kid played football. Like, did you hear what they said he looked like? And he said lasagna with teeth. And I was like, well, fuck, that is graphic. I would take the
Yeah.
pepper spray too. Like, I would honestly probably just not even go to the dance like my girlfriend told me to. Lasagna with teeth, like that put an
Another line
image
that can
in
only
my
exist
head.
in
I
this
was like,
movie.
whoa, what's that?
Yeah. So another line that can only exist in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. Just start saying that shit out of context and see how many people get it.
Yeah.
Not very many,
Right.
I bet.
Also, random side note, I found the name of the thing. It's called the Bolton Strid, but essentially a wide river basically flips on its side and it has
Hmm.
like a bunch of underground like caverns and stuff. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Random geographical connection there.
That sounds horrifying, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after lasagna with, oh yeah, so Chip goes to the dance anyway, and he's walking, and Jennifer does that thing where you clearly see her coming from one way, and she just pops up in your face from the opposite direction. And like everyone else in this movie, he just ignores that. And what happens here basically is Jennifer tries to get in his head, excuse me, and seduce him, saying that that football player, no, not the football player, that Colin and the guy that she ate in the creepy warehouse, that Colin and Needy have been porking, like another phrase that would only exist in this movie. Actually, I've heard that mostly in like 70s and 80s, like movies and shit like that. I can't think of one. Oh, I think like the little bit of the original Black Christmas I tried to watch a while ago said it, but I don't know why I never finished that. I really need to. But she insists that they have been porking and they were doing things that he's never even heard of, like total varsity moves, she says. Oh my God, this movie. She pretty much just keeps on trying to seduce him, and she is a bit successful. She ends up sneaking him away from the dance to like this abandoned murky water, like full of leaves, like this nasty lake water looking ass pool. Um, and she tries to seduce him again. He pulls away and is like, no, like I can't, like this feels weird. And so she drags him into that nasty ass pool. Uh Needy runs in. Oh, Needy again with like the supernatural connections and shit. Like when Jennifer initially starts kissing Chip, like Needy touches her lips as if she can feel it, and she like runs out of the dance and leaves, and she's able to just kind of locate where they are, I guess. Like, like that's reading too much into it. The point is that she found them, but yeah, it's not really explained how she was able to just kind of pinpoint them and how she's able to feel that she was kissing Chip. It just doesn't anyway. um That's one of those things where like you kind of got to shut your brain off when you watch movies like this and just fucking enjoy it. But yeah, I didn't think about that honestly until just right now, that was kind of odd. Um, Needy finds them, kind of just jumps in. No. She finds them, and then Jennifer has already bitten Chip in the side of his neck. Like that boy is just gonna die. Like the side of his neck is just ripped open, and is just gushing blood. And Jennifer kind of pulls away from feeding on him and just kind of growls at Needy, who very ballsy just jumps into the water on top of a demon, drags her underneath the water. Doesn't really do anything, just kind of lets her go and turns her back and starts to attend to Chip, who kind of signals for her to turn around as we see like almost like an alligator is swimming towards them, but it's just Jennifer, just like with her demon speed power, I guess, swimming towards them. Chip tosses Jennifer the lady's pepper spray that his mom gave him, and she sprays Jennifer, which it just pisses her off. It doesn't really do much. And they kind of tussle for a bit, and there's a lot of crazy dialogue during this exchange, but we would kind of be here all night talking about it, and we're almost to the end of the movie, so I'm just going to get through this. Uh, while Needy and Jennifer are kind of having their little tussle, Chip is able to like find this pool rake where the end of it just happens to be broken off like a steak. I don't know why that's just down there, but he's able to find that and he just sticks it through Jennifer's stomach. I don't know why not the chest or honestly the head if it was me. But
Hmm.
um yeah, it doesn't do anything, and Jennifer and Needy just kind of have a little bit more of that dialogue, and this is where I say like it's really like for the girls, like it just kind of keeps going and going, and it's almost to the beat of like some Evil Dead shit though. Back to my earlier point, the first couple of times, the third time I watched the movie, I was just like, okay, like I get it, but. They just have some funny lines exchanged, and Jennifer just leaves, and we go back to the opening of the movie, which is Needy creeping in Jennifer's window and just kind of disappearing when Jennifer turns around. She breaks into the house. They fight. She has a box cutter. She stabs Jennifer in the heart with it and she dies. We cut back to where she left off narrating. After she attacked that nurse in the beginning of the movie, she ended up in their solitary confinement. We cut back to her in that. We find out that because Jennifer bit her during their fight, that when you get bit by a demon, you absorb a portion of their powers, and so not only is she in solitary confinement, I believe that she planned that attack to get put in there on purpose so that she could levitate to the top of the ceiling and kick the gate out and escape. What she does, it was very like Hancock of her, the way she just walks out of this prison. It was pretty badass. She hitches a ride with the stranger on the way back into town. She where she's going is she's taking her demon powers now to stalk the band that that sacrificed her friend Jennifer. They are now these big famous pop stars. We get like some found footage sort of angles of them partying and stuff in their hotel. And then we see Needy come in. All the kills here are off screen, but we do see a bit of the aftermath, which is just bloody bodies and shit everywhere. And Needy, let me see. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's the movie. So we made it through. I actually was able to hit all my notes on the way along. I don't think I left out anything on here. So there's that. Um, I do feel like if this movie had been marketed the right way originally, it might have still been one of those like campy, like sort of guilty pleasure movies. But I mean, it's like I said, it's not for me, it's really for the girls. So as a girl, I would assume like uh this movie would be this movie would have great rewatch value. I mean, I just watched it like 3 or 4 times to try and get ready for this review, and I didn't really get tired. I got burnt out on some of the dialogue, but the movie itself was good, and it was a lot more. They really went there with the gore. Um, but I feel like this was just advertised as what I remember is that there will be guaranteed sex or a guaranteed lesbian sex scene with almost said Jennifer's body like a retard. But with God damn it, Megan Fox. That's it was marketed like that way really. Or it was just her just like I thought it was either gonna be that or it was just gonna be like this really dark scary movie about this girl just like eating her classmates. I didn't know it was supposed to be a comedy. Like I didn't see it marketed that way at all. Granted, I was sheltered. The only marketing I got for this movie was I had a DVD of Jet Li's Unleashed and the trailer for Jennifer's Body was like on that DVD when you would pop it in the DVD player because you couldn't skip all the trailers necessarily on that one. But yeah, it looked scary actually to me. I didn't expect it to be a comedy at all. I didn't expect it to be centered around the needy character at all, but yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said, a time capsule. Homegirl also wrote Juno, which is
Yep.
probably one of the only other movies I feel like super bad as well. I feel. I mean, she didn't write super bad, but
Oh
like
shit.
that's
It's
another one that gives me like Jennifer's Body type of vibes in a way.
it's funny you said I didn't bring it up at all during this review tonight, but when I was watching it and I because me and Shaw we watched it together for my first watch, but I was like, this feels like super bad for girls.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
the way that Seth Rogen is a shit friend. Like the first time I
Right.
watched
Right.
Super Bad, I was
Right.
like, this movie is
Yeah.
hilarious. Like these guys are funny. And then like the second time I watched it, and I was like, oh, this dude he was a piece of shit from the beginning. And I
Yeah.
just I just wasn't paying attention because I was laughing. It's sort
Right.
of that whole dynamic because like and there's a scene I skipped over too where Jennifer comes over to Tanity's house to steal her from her boyfriend where they're kind of like playfully pushing each other
Yeah.
and and then Jennifer just shoves the fuck out of Needy like her back hits like the wall like on some WWE shit and I was just like oh what the fuck was that about? Just a certain dominance on people in their house. Um, I want to end with a few honorable mentions from 2009. I didn't do like a list of. I didn't do like a top 20 or nothing like that. What do I got on here? There's 14. Oops, shut my pen. There's 14 on here. Some of these. Did I write down the ones I haven't seen? No, I didn't write down the ones I haven't seen because uh, I want to just talk about the ones that I liked necessarily. Now, there were a lot of sites that had a lot of different lists, and there was a lot of movies that came out in 2009. But these are just some honorable mentions that I personally liked or have good memories watching or seeing. So it's just kind of that. This is a very biased 2009 honorable mentions list. And also in no particular order. Like as I was looking through lists, I was just writing down ones. I was just like, oh yeah, that one was a good one. Some of these are going to be more action adventure slash horror. Um, but yeah, let's just get into it. Haunting in Connecticut was a great one. Um, and then we have Zombieland, which was another horror comedy.
That's one of my
Daybreakers.
favorites.
Yeah, Zombieland. It's one I haven't seen it much, but um I believe the two times I did watch it was like in Area Guard. I think it was one of those movies that kept us up on like a night shift or something like that. But I remember it being funny. I never did watch the sequel though, because I wasn't sure how necessary it was and how good it would be. So I just didn't do it. We have Daybreakers, which was a good one that I saw late. Um, Solomon Kane. This one, I saw it in 2015-ish. It was just like a random movie on Netflix that I watched one night. I was just kind of drinking in the barracks and just scrolling through shit, and I clicked on it, and it's like if Pirates of the Caribbean were like wasn't funny. Like if it was like a dark movie. That was a good one though. Um Up next we have Saw 6, which is a personal favorite of mine. As I watched that franchise late, but I've grown to love it. They're it's become part of my comfort franchises up there with Final Destination and like Chucky and shit like that. My Bloody Valentine remake was a gory mess. That movie was pretty badass too. See that level of camp too. That movie is another one that might have had us ready for Evil Dead in 2013. Up next we have Sorority Row, which is one I watched like 4 years ago for the first time. It was just on HBO, and I was looking for something like some 2000s like campiness, and I just threw it on. And just one of those movies about like fucked up rich friend groups. Like it was a good movie though. It was hilarious. The dialogue was very campy. The Unborn, another one I saw late. I saw most of these late. I wasn't really watching horror like that back in the 2000s. Um so I'm just gonna quit saying I saw these late because I saw everything late. We have, well, Orphan I saw pretty much in time. I was able to sneak and watch that one. Friday the 13th reboot was amazing. Underworld Rise of the Lycans, that may be the best Underworld,
Mm,
in my
I forgot
opinion.
about that one.
I think it's the best one. Underworld is another one of those that was it's on a lot of these 2000s lists that is it's just such a great movie and just such a great action movie in general. I forget to lump it in with horror, but it's
Yeah,
literally vampires and werewolves though. So it's odd that it's a good enough movie that you forget that vampires and werewolves are horror elements
right,
because
right. They're just
it's
like
not scary
characters.
at all.
Mm.
Yeah, Drag Me to Hell. This one is just on here because people like it and speak highly. I wasn't really crazy about it the first time I watched it. Um, I was also 25 and probably thought I knew a lot more about movies than I actually fucking did. I need to rewatch it, but I remember not really liking it that much. Um, Pandorum was a great one. I feel like we watched that together with Max at one point, but I don't want to say for sure.
Remind me what that one's about.
Pandorum is the one I believe they're like, shit. I've only watched it once, man. I really don't remember. It's one there. I believe it takes place in like a cave. I don't know if there's some kind of like explorer team or what they were. Like I really got to rewatch that movie. Maybe we'll do it soon. But it's pretty much I don't know if they turn into cannibals or if they just start reanimating, but it's sort of a creature feature, basically is what it turns into. But it was a good one. Forget who all was in
Who's in
it.
it? Oh, okay.
Completely forget.
Here, I'll look it
Um,
up.
and I'm gonna the last one is the last one on the list is gonna be Trick or Treat, which is an iconic movie that I couldn't believe I had gone my whole life without hearing about it until pretty much like sometime in the 2020s.
Hmm. I don't recall that one either. Let me look that up. Trick or treat.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Dennis Quaid and Ben Foster are in Pandora.
Yeah, I looked that one up. I don't recall that one. I don't think I saw
Yeah,
that one
maybe
too.
I don't think maybe we didn't watch it together, but my first time watching it was definitely at that apartment though.
Around that time. Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the review. That's the honorable mentions. As far as what we do next, I have crazy work week coming up probably because we're still kind of behind on shit.
for
Um,
sure.
I think I'll still be off Tuesday for sure, but that would be like in 2 days. Um, I've been off Sundays pretty regularly, but regardless, I haven't been getting off later than 4 or 4:30, so like I'm still free late nights. But I'll get a couple of ideas as far as like movies and stuff, and just kind of text you some stuff and we can decide on the next couple. And so what we're going to do next, everybody, is we're going to watch because there's a lot of 2000s horror to get through. We're going to watch two movies and just review them together essentially. As like it's still a new channel, we're still kind of tweaking out the formula. That's what we're going to try next to start kind of knocking out some of these titles. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I will text you. I'll text you tomorrow. With that list.
For sure. Sounds good. I'll try and think of some other ones from that time period that I really like.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know.
This is definitely one of the top ones though.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that. All right, later, man.
All right. See ya.